Pooja has a flight to catch, so let's take her on as the first speaker. Again, needs no introduction. She's a consultant, a senior or young consultant, I would rather say young dynamic consultant in cataract, dry eye, and refractive services at Narayan Nethralaya Eye Institute. And she is going to tell us something which is going to get us all anxious that our presentations need to be equally good too. She is going to talk about revolutionizing vision, the peel approach to corneal surgery excellence. So on to you, Pooja.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you for letting me go first. Thank you, Rushad and Tushar. Also, so I'm going to be talking about something which is not very new. It has already been performed in multiple other technologies, like Dr. Sri Ganesh sir has done it for Smile. But it's just that whenever a new technology comes in, there is some uniqueness which the technology has, and maybe some modifications on how we approach and the outcome. So it's just a small upgrade with the technology silk what we've been doing. So traditionally, whenever we do a lenticule procedure, we know that we open the anterior and the posterior plane. And then once we identify the anterior and posterior plane, we go ahead and the anterior plane first and then the posterior plane. And then we go ahead and remove the lenticule with a lenticule holding forceps. That's how traditionally most of all the or most of the refractive surgeons have been doing. But what happens is sometimes if the lenticule a little bit, and if you have to struggle a little bit in the lenticule dissection, especially finding the planes
Lot of
because of
network
a
issues. Hmm.
dense OBL, then hello,
Yeah, yeah.
hello.
Lot of network issues we are having,
I'll
but
just stop
let's
my
hope, yeah,
camera.
I hope it's clear now. Yeah,
Yeah, it should not be there now. Is it?
yeah.
So what happens is if you have a straightforward dissection, if you identify the anterior posterior plane and if it's a smooth dissection, day one, the patients have 20/20 wow vision, and you can see here there's not much of activation of keratocytes, and it fairly looks very good. But if you have a difficult dissection or a difficulty in identifying the anterior posterior plane, or if you've gone into a pseudo plane, then day one patients may be 20/20 or 20/40, but they're not so happy with the quality of vision, and that is because of the manipulation. There is a lot of this edema present at the subbasal level or the stromal level, and because of the edema, the quality of the vision is not very good. So now what happens is, we are, of course, as I mentioned, every technology is different. What has silk done is, silk, the spot sizing is different, the spot spacing is different, I may say. Between two spots, the difference is 1 micron. So technically, between two spots, there is not much of space. And also the laser pulse is shorter, and it's low energy. So in silk, the spot, there is hardly any distance between two spots. The spots are next to each other, and the spot size is also smaller, and the laser energy delivered is also on the on the lower energy side. So that makes dissection of the anterior and posterior plane quite easy, because technically there are no tissue bridges. So you have to dissect whenever there are tissue bridges, and that's when you have those minimal edema present. But because the spots are next to each other, there are no tissue bridges, and you hardly have to dissect. So, taking a lead from Dr. Sri Ganesh sir, we started doing this technique in silk. We labeled it as pressure exerted extraction of the lenticule, where we just do something like a rexis. We just identify the anterior and posterior plane, and then we just take a forceps and do something like it's schisis, but we just, like, the manner is doing like a renticular rexis, and we remove it. So that is what we started doing it, and you can see how easy it has been because of the no spot separation. So what we do is we delineate both the anterior and posterior plane, and then we take a micro incision forceps, which is 23 gauge, and then we move forward parallel to the limbus with continuous tangential traction, which is exerted from 12 to 6 o'clock circumferentially. And we do, let's say, the right side first and then the left side, or you can do vice versa also. And with this technique, because you're holding the lenticule and nearer to the attached area, there is minimal chances of retention of the lenticule. However, you have to look for it. So now what we have started doing is with optimization of energies, we rather than doing something like a circumferential movement, we just push the lenticule inside and we remove it. So this is what we have been doing for the past 6 months with the optimization of energy. So it's not even something like you do a circumferential movement. You just identify the anterior and posterior plane. You grasp the lenticule with the 23 gauge forceps and then push and pull. That's it. So that's what we have been doing, and it's been quite consistent for many cases now. We've done more than 400 eyes with this similar technique. It doesn't work for all the patients. Sometimes you do have to go back to the gold standard, which is the dissection, but fairly it works for your 90% of the patients. And day one, they have been having a clear cornea. If you see them on retroillumination, you can see how smooth the interface has been. The objective scatter index is also quite good on day one. And if you see the OCT analysis, there is hardly any Bowman's layer distortion or any edema of the interface. So I think we are just moving towards a technology which is going to make the lenticular extraction quite simple as we move on. Thank you.
Thanks, Pooja. That was a very nice presentation. But can you be a little more realistic in a sense? Are there any kind of OBL patterns which you see when you take a call that no, this particular case I'm not going to do lenticular schisis, or you think if the right way of the push and pull seems to be quite elegant, you could do it with any kind of OBL pattern?
No, ma'am. As I said, we do quite a lot of patients, but I would say that it's 90% of the patients in your practice. You cannot do it for all the patients. If it's a very thick cornea, like let's say if it's 550 or above, or if it's a very thin lenticule of 2 diopters or less, or if it's, let's say, if you have a corvus in your practice, and if it's a very biomechanically strong cornea where your SPA1 is above 100, then I wouldn't attempt this for sure. Because I know that there I'm not able to go I will not be able to do this technique. I just have to, then I go back to the gold standard of dissection. So there are cases, even if you optimize the energies and all, this may not work. So
Yes.
that's when you go back to the gold standard. So I suggest myself that don't do it for all the cases. And of course, if the OBL is dense, sometimes you see a very dense OBL at 3 and 9 o'clock, or the entire 0 to 180 degree, you see a dense OBL. That's when also I try not to attempt it.
Dr. Sonu Goel, do you have anything to add to this before we
I
move
think
on?
Pooja has always something new to add, and I think that's an excellent technique. Congratulations, Pooja, and your group for
Thank
doing
you,
this
sir.
wonderful thing. And I also second that it doesn't work for all patients. We have been doing lenticoschisis for off now, but I think yes, optimization of energy, and then I think Dr. Sri Ganesh guess escape pattern is one very important sign, and I feel whenever you have that sign, the dissection is quite an easy job. So, all in all, I think it's a wonderful technique. And how many cases? Just a quick question: how many cases you had incidents of the lenticle tear? Or I think I had multiple cases where I could actually I was doing 2 millimeters the cap side cut, and a lot of patients had that cap side tear. So I think it works very well in expert hands, and yes, the OBL pattern has to be really looked into.
Yes, so I have had 3 or 4 patients where I had a lenticule tear, and then it becomes little messier to go and remove it, but it's at the edge. So with little magnification and a little different, even the minimal forceps, you can go ahead and remove it. But now if I see a different OBL pattern, as you mentioned and ma'am also asked, we try not to attempt it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yes, that's definitely a way to go. Anyway, if the lenticule actually gets stuck to the cap, I think all of us are doing lenticuloschisis only to remove it. So here, once she has separated the two planes, I guess, and I quite like the way she pushed the lenticule inferiorly and pulled it out. You want to tell anything, Shreyas, before we go on to our next speaker?
Just a quick question. While Pooja, nice video, and with the technique of lenticule peeling whichever way we do it, while it does have the advantage of ensuring that you're not distorting the sides as much, which can happen when you're doing a manual dissection. If you have a uniform, and I think all of us agree that optimizing energy is probably the most important parameter in faster visual recovery for each particular machine. What do you feel this technique offers over a standard dissection in terms of ensuring faster visual outcomes? What do you think is the main reason why lenticuloscopic is at least proposedly has a slightly better visual recovery than the regular dissection technique?
So we have you, Ramurthy sir, Rushad, I think, who have been using silk. What I have seen in silk is sometimes if you take a little longer time in dissection, or even if there is a tough dissection, and even if you are moistening your cornea regularly, there is always some sort of edema you see on table. And even if you start them on steroids 1 hourly, day one, the quantity of vision is not good. So what this technique has an advantage is it just reduces your dissection time. So, sometimes if you have identified the anterior and posterior plane correctly, then you just saw that either you can do like something like a rexis or just push and pull. So that just reduces your dissection time. Otherwise, it becomes sometimes messier. And I've had a patient sometimes if my fellows do a case of silk, then day one they are 6'9" and they take a week to recover or something. But at the same time, when they do a peel technique, which we give it to our senior fellows, because it's less manipulating, because it's less activation of keratocytes, which we have seen on confocal, the day one quality of vision in the same hands is much better. So even in beginner's hand, when we have tried, the recovery of quality of vision is little faster here than compared to that of dissection.
Is this in any way machine specific, or it can be replicated across all platforms?
Sir, as Shri Ganesh sir has always been doing it, Sonu Goyal sir also mentioned he's been doing it for all their patients. So, it can be replicated at least on Visumax, Smile, and Silk. I've tried doing it on Atos, but because the Atos doesn't have a side cut, as in the edge of the lenticule, we have not been able to do it very meticulously in Atos right now. And Zemer, I think one of, as in you can try, sir, and let us know. But this Atos, I'm not yet able to do it.
The old adage was there many ways to skin the cat. Now it's to peel the lenticule. Many ways to do.
Yeah. It's
So,
like you started from your capsulotomies and now you do rexes for all your cases. So it's like a flax procedure. The lenticule is already separated, but like how you have done a flax and you go and still hold a forceps to remove that some attached areas, it's something like that.
great.
Yeah. Thanks, Pooja. But I still believe that you need to have a nice OBL to get that kind of visual outcome in these patients too.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
but yeah, you have a nice way of debating for your cause. So we go and thanks a lot.